Hello there, guys. Today I found a very cool study. I always say that, but I think really this one is really something extra. All right, we are playing white here. The black pawns are moving down in the diagram. So they are two connected pawns, and our king is really off the edge here. It's way up here in the corner where it shouldn't be. But still, we can win this as white with only our king and a rook and stopping both of these pawns. The question is, of course, how do we do it? Well, you should post the video now. Go ahead, look through all variations and see if you can find out how white wins this. Go ahead. All right, and welcome back. Okay, let's start with some obvious moves that's not right. Uh, Giving a check here with the rook doesn't give us anything. The king will just go up to g2. The pawn is still going here, and I mean we cannot come any further. Checking again, he can either go back, but that allows him to for white to really find a good move. So he will go to g3, and then it's a dead draw. This pawn is unstoppable, and we have to sacrifice on that. Okay, so this is a bit more interesting, playing rook a5 to attack this pawn, which has come the furthest. But this is a draw. Black has two options, either just to cover this and then start running again, or he can just keep on going with the pawn. Even after rook h5, we don't win this pawn because black will simply play g5. We take, the king goes to f2, we try to attack it again. The king comes to g3 and the pawn will run. We will have to sacrifice there, and it's a draw. Okay, so the most obvious move here is not right either. We cannot take this pawn on g7 because we are not winning this. This is a draw. Look at this, h4. Of course, our king has to come closer, so that's the only one we are using. And this will happen. We will allow black to promote to a queen, and then king g3. This is the plan for us to win, but black can stop the checkmate by playing queen h8, and it stopped, and we are actually losing this now. So then, when you find out that this is the wrong move, and why this pawn has to stay on g7, well, then you know it's easy to find the right move. It's king h7. Just looking at the same variation, if this goes on, he has to play h4. Something like this is not good enough because we take one of these pawns and then we will be quick enough to get the other one also, like this, and we will win by playing king g3. We will look at what happens if we promotes to a knight later on the other variation. Okay, so from here, our plan is this, of course, same we looked at, and if and when he promotes to a queen, white plays king g3, and this is so beautiful because it's threatening checkmate. The queen cannot go anywhere to stop it, cannot check our king without being lost, so he's forced to play king f1, and then of course we play check, take the queen, and it's an easy win. But it's not all over there, of course. Black has better defenses than this. Okay, let's go back to this again. These are the best defenses so far, but here, I told you, we're going to look at what happens if black takes a knight here instead of a queen. And in this variation, he still keeps his pawn, so it's not that easy to win, but we still win this. Can you see how? We play king f3. So this means we are blocking these two squares for the knight. It's really blocked here in the corner. We are not threatening anything really. We're threatening a check here, but the king come up here. But we're putting black in the Zugzwang. So he cannot move the king, of course. That is a checkmate. And he cannot move the knight. So he has to move the pawn. One step or two step doesn't really matter. After that, we will play the rook to d2. That's important because we want to stop these two squares from the black knight to come there. We'll give a check. We take it. We temporarily allow black's knight to come out with a check on f2, but then we go back. And that's why we wanted the rook on d2. We are blocking these two squares for the knight. The king cannot move because we are threatening his knight now, so he has to move it back to h1 or to h3. h3, simply king g3, and we will get a checkmate next move, or take the knight if it perhaps moves back there. And it's as easy, really, if we place the knight to h1. Then we just need a tempo move with the rook, something like rook a2. The knight cannot go anywhere, the king cannot go anywhere without getting checkmated, and we are winning this. But there's one more variation we have to look at, and this is a tougher one. In this position, instead of taking a knight, black can play g5 right away. And now we are into a long variation before we win this. If you want to have another go here, you can pause the video again and see if you find out how white wins this. All right, welcome back. So we cannot take this because the king gets too far away. We get a queen here, and we're just too slow to go down to g3. Instead, we will have to just exchange this and get a draw. So white is forced to play king g3 to really push this to promote to a knight, because now we're threatening checkmate. Black has to get a knight here with a check. And the thing is, we go to f3, same position as before, but we didn't have time to make this tempo move rook d2. So now black will check right away and sacrifice his pawn. We are forced to take it. The knight comes to f2 with a check. We go and attack it. Still cannot go to h3 because we simply go to g3 with the king. And of course, he cannot go back. Then we can make a tempo move with our knight and win. But now he's trying to escape with his knight. d1 is not good either, of course. We will just pin it and win it. That's I didn't meant to say that. Pin it and win it. I like that phrase. Hope you enjoyed it too. That's on me. All right, knight d3. That's what it's gonna play. And now we are starting to get something really long variation here. We have to catch this knight somehow. If you want to pause the video again, go ahead. Okay, here we go. To catch this knight, we have to play rook a4. We are stopping the knight in some of the spaces he can go to, and we will keep chasing him in others. Okay, so he's got now, of course, many different options well here also where to go. Some are taking right away, but look at these. Let's go through them all one by one. We play rook a4, and he goes to f2. Easy win for us. We just check and then take the knight. No problem. Rook e1 check is more problematic, but we win this by playing king to e2. Attacking here, he can only escape to g2 or c2. If he goes to c2, we simply go chase it again, and it's really stuck. It cannot go anywhere. And if the knight comes to g2, we play rook g4, pin the knight, The king comes to h1 or h2, doesn't matter. We play king f2, and we are threatening the knight, and if it moves, we're giving a checkmate on h4. Okay, what else? Well, again, if it goes to c1, we pin it and win it. I'm going to say that all the time now. And b2 is not good enough. We just give a check. King comes up, and then we pin it. I'm not going to say it once more. You know what I mean. Okay, so two more moves. What happens on knight e5 check? Well, then we go with the king to g3. We just ignore this knight now, and we're going for the king. Threatening checkmate. The knight cannot stop it. Black plays king f1. And how do we win from here? Well, we win the knight in just few steps. Rook f4 check. He cannot go to e2 or e1. Then we have another check here, and we take the knight. And if he goes back, well, we'll play rook e4 anyway, threatening the knight and checkmate. So we will win the piece. Okay, going back to black's best defense then. After we play rook a4, black will try to escape with his knight. And I realize now that there's a lot of different variations where you can catch this knight. We are now playing rook versus a knight, which is a very hard end game. But in this case, where they are separated, the black king and knight, we will win this. And I'm just going to show you the variation given by the author of this composition to save time, so we don't have to go over all of this. Okay, after knight c5, rook c4, black plays knight b3. We go with the king to stop this knight from coming somewhere on the d file or in the fifth rank. So we're just trying to block him. He will play a5, trying to go away on the fifth rank, but rook plays c7, stopping the knight from everywhere practically. Black will just move his king, and we start chasing it with our king, allowing the check here. King comes to c3. Knight tries to escape and go towards his king, but we stop it with rook e7, and I can make a random king move, and simply now we catch the knight like this, and it's caught in the corner. And after that, white will win this. I could, of course, make a separate video about rook versus knight. I might do that sometime, but I wanted to end up this beautiful chess study and not make the video way too long for you. All right, hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching to the end. Have a great day, everybody, and bye bye.